I was 10 years old when my grandmother came to live with us. It was about 6 months after my granddad died. Looking back now, I think she was just lonely. Their house was big, quiet, full of memories she didn't want to sit with anymore. My mom wasn't thrilled about it. They argued about it more than once. But me? I was excited. Grandma was loud. She laughed a lot. She always smelled like boiled sweets, and she never failed to slip a few into my hand when my parents weren't looking. If I got into trouble, she'd defend me instantly, even when I was clearly in the wrong. But the thing I loved most about her were her stories. She had stories about growing up during the war, about being evacuated, sneaking out with friends, getting into trouble. Sad stories, funny ones, and then there were the scary ones. She used to tell them at night, sitting on the edge of my bed. She'd turn off the lights so the only glow came from the moon through the curtains. She'd lean in close enough that I could see every wrinkle on her face, smell the sweets on her breath, feel her eyes locked onto mine. Even at 10 years old, I knew she was good at it. Most of those stories faded with time, but one never did. The one about the shower, and something she called Mr. Longfingers. She told me about him after I asked why she always took baths instead of showers. She loved baths, candles, incense, staying in there until the water went cold. It drove my mom insane. Grandma leaned closer that night and said very seriously, "People like me, people who are sensitive, we can't relax in showers." I remember shivering under the blanket, already knowing a scary story was coming. She said showers were dangerous, only if you closed your eyes. For more than 10 seconds, she added. She asked if I'd ever played that game at school, where one kid turns around and the others sneak up while they're not looking. I nodded. "That's what it's like in the shower," she said. "That's when he moves." That's when she told me about Mr. Longfingers. She didn't know what he was. No one did. Some thought he was drawn to heat. Others thought he came through the steam itself. All she knew was this: anyone who actually saw him never got the chance to talk about it. She told me the rules. 5 seconds with your eyes closed was fine. 10 seconds was risky. 15 seconds, that's when you might hear it. A soft tapping. Fingers tapping against the glass. And if I ever heard that sound, she leaned in so close her face filled my vision. "Promise me you'll never open your eyes." I barely slept that night. Every time I closed my eyes, I imagined something watching me from the dark, pressed against the window, breathing. The nightmares lasted for days. But the worst part was the shower. Standing under the water, shampoo running down my face. The second my eyes closed, her voice came back. 5 seconds is fine. I'd start counting in my head. My chest would tighten. The sound of the water would feel too loud, too close. By the time I hit 5 seconds, I'd feel it. Not being watched exactly. Just pressure. Like the air had weight. I'd open my eyes early, soap still burning, just to make sure I was alone. Every time. Eventually my mom noticed. She heard me crying one night and asked what was wrong. I told her everything. She wasn't angry at me. She was furious at my grandmother. That night I heard my parents arguing through the wall. Not whispering. Full voices. She told him there's a monster in the shower, my mom said. He's terrified. The next night, Grandma came into my room. No stories this time. She just sat there quiet, staring at me in the moonlight. She told me she'd never let anything hurt me, that she'd gone too far. Then she smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. "I'll take care of it," she said. "I'll scare it off." A week later, I found her. I woke up early to the sound of water. The shower. Something felt wrong immediately. I ran down the hallway and started banging on the bathroom door, yelling her name. No answer. The door wasn't locked. Steam poured out when it opened, and there she was, lying on the shower floor, eyes wide, one hand clutched to her chest, the other pressed against the glass. Finger marks dragged through the steam. They said it was a heart attack. Quick, painless, but I knew better. Even then, I'm an adult now, married, kids. I still don't take showers. I make everyone take baths. They think it's trauma. They don't know the truth. Because after the paramedics left, after the bathroom cooled, I went back in, and I looked at the glass. The marks weren't random. They were too long, too far apart. And I've never closed my eyes in the shower since. 'Cause I know, she wasn't alone in there. This happened just a few months ago. I'm a woman, and at the time I was living in a big old house with 5 Navy guys. We were all friends and it felt like a safe setup. The house was huge and my room was technically separate, It was out in the detached garage behind the main house. At first, I thought it was kind of cool. Private space. Quiet. Looking back, it also meant I was completely alone. That night, I went to bed like normal. Nothing felt off. No weird noises, no bad feeling. I fell asleep pretty quickly. Then I started hearing something in my dream. A loud rattling sound. At first, I assumed it was part of whatever I was dreaming about. But the sound didn't fade. It stayed consistent, sharp, mechanical. I slowly started waking up, feeling heavy and disoriented. The kind of half-awake state where you don't fully trust what you're hearing yet. Then I opened my eyes. The sound was still there. I turned my head toward the door. It was about 3 feet from the end of my bed. And the doorknob was rattling violently. Not a gentle shake. Not a knock. It sounded like someone was grabbing it and jerking it back and forth as hard as they could. That's when it hit me. I was fully awake. This wasn't a dream. My dog, a lab who never wakes up during the night, was sitting straight up on the bed staring at the door. Completely silent. Completely alert. My heart dropped. I used to forget to lock that door all the time. The neighborhood felt quiet. Safe. But about a week earlier, for some reason, I'd started deadbolting it every night. I honestly don't even remember why. Probably something I read online. That deadbolt was the only thing between me and whoever was on the other side of that door. The rattling kept going. I could see light spilling through the cracks of my closet door. The motion light outside had turned on. That meant someone was right there. Close enough to trigger it. I couldn't move. I couldn't scream. I remember thinking, this is it. This is how it happens. I grabbed the only thing within reach, a heavy metal flashlight, and pulled the blanket over my head like that would somehow protect me. I curled into a tight ball, holding the flashlight with both hands, shaking so hard my arms hurt. I didn't even think about calling for help. I just waited. After what felt like forever, the noise stopped. Complete silence. I stayed frozen for several seconds, terrified that the second I moved, it would start again. Finally, I forced myself to move. I crawled into my closet. It had this weird layout, a bench underneath a small window. I climbed up and slowly lifted my head just enough to see outside. The motion light was still on. Then, a few seconds later, it shut off. Whatever had been there was gone. I missed them by seconds. I went back to my bed, heart racing, trying to think logically. I lived with 5 guys. They went out drinking all the time. It was around 2:30 in the morning, bar closing time. Maybe someone drunk came back with them and got confused. Maybe someone thought the garage was part of the house. I grabbed my phone and texted all of them, trying to sound casual. Hey guys, are you up? Do you have people over? Someone was just outside my door trying to get in. Probably someone drunk. Ha. Kinda creepy. Less than 2 minutes later, I heard the back door of the main house slam open. Voices. Running footsteps. Metal clanking. I peeked out and saw my roommates sprinting into the backyard with baseball bats. One of them had woken up and seen my message. He grabbed another guy and they didn't hesitate. I opened my door, ran across the yard with my dog, and didn't stop until I was inside the house. I didn't sleep at all that night. They stayed up for hours, patrolling the yard, checking windows, watching shadows. We never saw anyone. But in the morning, they found a pack of cigarettes in the backyard. And a fast food bag, Hardee's I think. Someone had been there. Most likely, it was someone trying to break in. With 6 cars in the driveway, they probably assumed the house was full, and the garage was empty. What still gets me is what I thought while I was lying there under that blanket. I genuinely believed all my roommates might already be dead. That I was next. That thought still chills me more than the rattling ever did. Because whoever it was, they didn't knock. They didn't call out. They didn't leave right away. They tried the door. Art. I don't tell this story very often. Not because I think people won't believe me, but because I'm not sure they'd understand why it still scares me. This isn't about monsters or strangers in the dark. It's about my own mind and what it's capable of doing to me. Shortly after I graduated high school, I woke up one morning and found my father dead in our living room. There's no dramatic build-up to that moment. No warning. I just woke up, walked out of my room, and there he was. I tried CPR. I remember my hands moving, but my brain already knew it was too late. He was gone before I ever reached him. That moment broke something in me. For the next year, I wasn't really a functioning person. I barely slept. I barely ate. And when I did sleep, that's when it started. The nightmares. In the dreams, I'd be walking down the hallway toward the living room. Everything felt normal at first. Quiet. So, then I'd realize where I was going. I'd realize what I was about to see, and before I ever reached the doorway, I'd start screaming. I'd wake up screaming too, every time. It got so bad that I stopped sleeping altogether. I'd stay awake for days just to avoid the dream. I figured exhaustion was better than reliving that moment over and over again. Then one day, I broke. It was the middle of the day. According to my girlfriend at the time, who's now my wife, my body suddenly tensed up. She said it looked like I was having a seizure. It lasted almost an hour. Inside my head, I was trapped in that same morning, over and over, walking toward the living room, knowing what was there. But this time, I kept stopping myself. Every time I got close, I'd scream. A deep, animal scream. And everything would reset. My wife said I was screaming like that in real life too. Eventually, I let myself go all the way in. I saw my father's body again. And when I came out of it, the nightmare stopped. Just like that. A few years later, in 2005, I joined the army. I ended up in Iraq. One day I was leading a convoy. We'd been briefed that insurgents were sending children out in front of vehicles to force them to stop, then ambush them. As we were moving, a kid ran out into the road about 300 meters ahead of us. I froze. We had orders. Clear ones. Don't stop. My truck chief was screaming at me to floor it. I did. At the last second, the kid jumped out of the way. We made it to the next FOB without incident. But that decision stuck with me. The weight of it. The fact that I almost did something I could never take back. That night I tried to sleep. That was a mistake. In the dream I was driving again. The kid ran out in front of me. This time, I didn't slow down. I felt the impact. I stopped the truck, sick to my stomach, and got out to see what I'd done. As I walked around the back of the vehicle, I felt it. That same dread. That same cold realization I remembered from years earlier. I told myself it wasn't the same. That this was different. Then I saw him. My father. Lying there. Dead. I started screaming. And when I woke up, I was screaming for real. I wasn't in my bunk. I wasn't even in the same area of the FOB. I was running. Full sprint. I didn't recognize where I was until people grabbed me and pulled me to the ground. I haven't had nightmares like that since. But the fear never really left. Because the scariest part isn't what I saw in those dreams. It's knowing my mind can take the worst moments of my life and replay them, combine them, twist them, and drop me right back inside them without warning. I don't fear monsters. I fear falling asleep and not knowing what my own head might decide to show me next.